Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. First journey is picking out what deck we're going to use. I do this before every reading. This is actually the deck that I've been thinking about, but that doesn't mean that it wants to be bothered. So we do get consent before every reading because I want to be sure that the deck that we use wants to actually provide a message, right? So I'm just going to shuffle the deck until one card comes out. We're only going to take one. So, and it's either a yes or no card. And if it's a no card, we just move on to the next deck. So that's why I have all these decks out here. So while we're doing that, just a quick little setting expectations. What was that? Seven of Cups reversed. We're going to take that as a no. I'm not psychic. I'm certainly not claiming to be, but I do know these cards, and my intention is to give you the message as it's coming through to me in as many ways as it is coming through to me. And also, I like to, Page of Swords, the Star, okay, I think we will. We will use, I think this is the Guardians deck. I haven't even actually used this deck for YouTube readings before, so that's fun. Okay. So, what was I saying? I like to explain the cards to you because no doubt you are receiving your own message, your own confirmation, because obviously you're the one that's living your life. So if there is not a message that I'm saying out loud, but there is something that is coming through to you that is very much a message, but also at the same time, don't try to fit a square peg into a round hole to fit a narrative. Obviously use your discernment. Not everything in the reading may resonate for you. It is a general reading, blah, blah, blah. What else though? I feel like I'm missing something. I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, I'm just glad that we are both here. But of course, it does help me grow, and I love that. I do feel like I'm missing something, but whatever. If I think of it, if it comes to me, then I'll just message you in in the reading. So, yeah, let's get to it. Great. So, this is a reading for Cancer, wherever Cancer shows up for you. This deck has been really cool so far. I haven't even used this deck in an official reading, outside of giving myself a reading, which I also am just kind of realizing I really do need to use the decks that I have. I have so many decks that I literally have never used. So I think going forward, I'm going to make it a point to use decks that I haven't otherwise used for readings. But anyway, I've only done Gemini's reading so far, and that was pretty cool. So let's see what we have for Cancer. I halfway want to do the intro over again because I don't know. Oh, we have the World card. Hold on. Okay. Oh, that is way too many. Way too many. I already forgot what I was saying. The intro, whatever, who cares? It just popped into my head. That's why I said it out loud. And I'm not going to because we chose the deck in there and I don't really want to redo it, So anyway, like I said, it literally just popped into my head. So I said it out loud. That's how I try to be in these readings is if it it's just in and out. Like in through my crown, out through my mouth. So we have the World card for Cancer. What else? How many cards is this? Okay. So we have the World, we have the Six of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, Eight of Swords, Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Can we see this okay? Like, is there... I know that there can be a glare. I won't be able to see that very well. Actually, not that it matters. Okay, sorry. I feel like I'm good. I mean, we'll pull the cards from the bottom of the deck eventually anyway, so we don't really need to see them, at least right now. You know what is so interesting to me about the World and the Six of Swords is that we have this being here that's looking at the world, like Earth, right? And then we have this being here who's looking at the moon. So it's almost like this being could be on the moon looking at Earth. This being or this guardian is on Earth looking at the moon, which is just interesting to me. But why? It's like, what would be the significance of that? It almost feels like yearning. It's okay. It's one of the, okay, this is what I mean, I guess, by yearning. Because clearly these are two different, these have green or blue leaves. This guardian has red leaves, right? So they're clearly two different guardians. But it's like you wishing for a specific kind of life, right? And maybe this guardian has that life, but then they're wishing for your type of life. You know what I mean? It's like somebody would kill to be in your shoes as much as you would kill, obviously not literally, to be in somebody else's shoes, right? But it's like, instead of that, you know, it's like, what can you affect change in your own life that could get you closer to that? It's really interesting how these two cards specifically just kind of took me on this trip. But the World card signifies the end of something. It's the culmination, the completion of something. We're going to read out of the book a good amount because this is why I love reading out of people's guidebooks when they create decks, because I love hearing other people's perspectives on the same subject, right? Like, and I think too, it only helps us develop nuance and, you know, like expand our understanding of like cards and shit, and literally anything in the world. So, like I said, the World signifies the end of something, the completion. You know, there's these beings or like these souls that are leaving Earth too. That's interesting. I'm like, how can I leave Earth? Let's see. Ooh. The book says this guardian watches as the pieces of the once collective social consciousness, no longer relevant, departs from our current reality, leaving behind a space for a new consciousness to emerge. Yes. Okay, well, good. Actually, I'll stay then. It's just the once collective social consciousness. I kind of love that. This card signifies old ideas that once proliferated through your mind are now leaving your consciousness. They no longer serve the world in which you are now experiencing. One by one, they drift away, making way for a new way of being and experiencing the world around you. Oh, I love that. That feels pretty deep, you know? I mean, there could be a major shift happening within you. And of course, the world around you, the environment around you, but we're talking about you, Cancer. So however that fits, but maybe, like there's just something that has calibrated itself to, it's like all of this whole process, it's not something that just necessarily happens overnight. This started at the Fool card, right? And it went through all of the highs, the lows, the in-betweens, the all of the stuff, on the Fool's journey from 0 to 21. So it's like something clicking, something just making sense, recognizing that there could be a way of being, a belief system that you've had, a behavior pattern that you've had, just, something even having to do with social or cultural consciousness. It really is like an awakening almost, which I do think is happening on a collective level, one way or the other. But truly, it's like the old way of doing things, even if it is specific, of course, to your own life, your own perceptions, your own way of navigating. The old excuses don't work anymore. The old reasonings don't work anymore. The Six of Swords is like a change in your belief systems, your mindset. Swords have to do with our thoughts, our mind, our mindset, belief systems, ideas, truth, honesty, how we communicate, all those things. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we tend to hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, feelings, circumstances. It becomes the reasons why we do things, why we don't do other things, why we believe the things that we do. It's our limiting beliefs. What we think is possible, the ideas that we come up with. So the Six of Swords, traditionally in the tarot, they're on a boat and they're leaving choppy waters and they're being guided towards peaceful water. Water in tarot represents our emotions, and our emotions have everything to do with our thoughts and beliefs too, right? It's kind of like they're connected. So it's allowing your mindset to shift. It's allowing peace to enter your life, your brain. It's like no longer fighting against yourself or fighting with yourself. It's having even too like a large understanding of like your experience, but also maybe too like other people, like on a greater collective level. The book says, looking to the moon for a moment before she turns back to the ghostly child apparition. Oh yeah, okay. I'm like, there's a ghostly child apparition. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but I think it's like right here. It's kind of blue. It looks like there's a graveyard here for a dog. There's like a dog laying. Oh, this is a graveyard. Whoa. But can you see that though? Like, this is it looks like a headstone or whatever you call, like a tombstone. Okay, the word has totally left my brain, but there's a dog laying down here, and then there's a child apparition. Interesting. Also, that kind of hit me in my feels a little bit over here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so looking to the moon for a moment before she turns back to the ghostly child apparition. Whoops. Okay, so looking to the moon for a moment before she turns back to the ghostly child apparition, she prepares for the child to move into the other world. She plays a pivotal role within the tragic story. She is the main support to those touched by this change, and at times she may not have others to lean upon. As this card appears, it reminds us that there are going to be tragic losses in life, whether physical or emotional. You will need to work through the loss. You may need to be the one to stay strong and guide others through this time. Interesting that it comes after the world card that's like talking about, a consciousness leaving the planet. Even too, you know, even if you are changing your own consciousness, there is still a sense of loss there. And two, even being understanding of other people and like your interactions with other people, like that whole thing of like, you don't know what other people are going through. So, like a smile could go a long way. Kindness could go a long way. Cancer is the moon too. Anyway, right? So, you could have a big impact in the lives of people around you. But also, though, I mean, you please make sure to be taking care of your star player first. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can, but it's only going to cause harm to you. And anyway, like I was saying, I kind of started saying, like even changing your own conscious beliefs, even your subconscious beliefs, right? I mean, either way, there is a sense of loss because those beliefs came from somewhere. There is a sense of identity in those beliefs. And if that is changing, then it could have an impact on more areas of your life, your relationships, your work, your self, So it's also allowing yourself space to honor that, to grieve that, to allow it to rest. And then we have this Queen of Pentacles, which is like, it feels like almost like a total kind of vibe shift. It really does feel like, instead of being focused on the past and allowing that to dictate the present or even the future, which comes with potentially a lot of fears, a lot of doubts. I mean, there's those beliefs, right? Like what you have always believed to be possible, what your belief has always been in yourself. And if you are allowing those things to be released, what are you replacing it with, right? It's hope. It's truly anything is possible. It's like replacing it with these flowers and sunlight and connection, even. It's kind of interesting that in the Six of Swords, they talk about this child apparition, which, is a ghost. So whatever the story is there, but in this Queen of Pentacles, there is a physical representation of, it looks like to me, a child or adolescent little guardian being. The book says this guardian queen seizes a chance to connect to the future and allow happiness to flow through a simple moment of jubilance. Looking into the child's eyes, she sees the past and future come together in the eyes of the youth, ensuring her legacy lives on for eternity. Within the eyes of the youth, the lives of ancestors, we and the future exist. Celebrate and cherish your role within the whole. It is within this existence that we realize our importance and the influence we bring to the future. Make it a happy one. This is really, really interesting. How these cards have like unfolded. I mean, you could have felt very isolated, alone, And the Queen of Pentacles is like literally the opposite of that. It's like, you know, community, connection, believing in a brighter future, however that looks like for you. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our time. Where are we investing our time, our energy? Where are we physically showing up in our lives? It's our health, our physical body. Literally anything that you can touch, anything that you place value and worth on. And queens are when we embody that energy of the suit ourselves. It's self-care. Again, even like I said over here, right? It's making sure that you are pouring into your own cup. That as much as you are connecting with other people and developing community, that you are still fostering those things within yourself. And not to mention, it's like finding those connections, finding that community that also gives that to you too. The Seven of Cups generally talks about options. It's also a little daydreamy, like in the sense of what are the possibilities? What are the things that you believe now to be possible or that you want to believe are possible? It's taking stock of different areas of your life, cups having to do with our emotions. And I know I've already said a few times, but making sure that you are taking care of the different aspects of your life. The book says, as the winds caress this guardian's body, her crystal ball illuminates the desire each person intrinsically carries. The desire to believe in something, anything, and everything, to give you further meaning in this life. This card signifies the structure of personal belief. Whether you need to have belief for human kindness, compassion, or simple goodwill, this guardian is here to let you know that it does exist. Dudes, this really could be re-entering the world. But like, I keep kind of going back to the Six of Swords, because if you have been in a period of just, maybe making connections with other people, maybe being in community was not really a priority to you for whatever reason, it clearly is now a time, or is coming to be a time of becoming part of community, making connections again in whatever aspect that is for you. It's even just allowing your heart to be open to it. Again, like I was saying somewhere about simple acts of kindness, like maybe making eye contact with people, which I try not to. But, okay, so like, making eye contact with people, maybe, smiling at people, maybe giving grumpy people the benefit of the doubt, and being a little nicer to them, or, you know what I mean? It's just like those little acts of kindness, but also it's those little slivers of connection here and there, I mean, of course it can be making more of an effort to be part of community. And it's like I do think that it's a little hilarious that it's the Eight of Swords that's at the end of the deck, because it's just like, you might be thinking, no. Like, just, that sounds exhausting. That doesn't sound like something I want to do. Like, the Eight of Swords is a self-inflicted mind prison, is how I talk about the Eight of Swords. Because it is, all of the experiences, the beliefs, it's all those things wrapped into one and how it lives in your mind. And if people haven't been safe, if you have struggled to find community or find connection in however, whatever capacity that struggle has been, it's like, ugh, exhausting. But the book says that the guardians are aware of miscommunication and the adverse effects to those around us, often without intention. When this card appears, take a moment and reflect what influences have taken your attention away from the issues. From issues that are more pressing. Ask for clarification before the matter gets out of control. It is time to prioritize, clear the air, and refocus your energy onto what is even more valuable. I mean, maybe there's a person or something like in your life where, a conversation, like the energy is available for a conversation to be had, to clear the air, and especially if that thing is the thing that prevents you from doing other things. This is getting kind of long, so I'm probably not going to spend a ton of time on these like clarifiers. We have the 8 of Wands, 2 of Wands, Ace of Cups, 9 of Wands, 2 of Cups, and then the 8 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Now, the 8 of Wands is fast moving, communication, not to mention too, right? I mean, look at the imagery on this card. Crown, third eye, crown, right? I mean, something is blossoming here. There's this goddess energy, right, with this. It almost kind of looks like the moon. I'm sure that it's not, but something is clearly blossoming here. So, and it's interesting that it's on top of the World card, which was talking about a consciousness, a way of being leaving Earth. This is almost like, the replacement of that. Like, what are you fostering? What is also even trying to come through to you? Like, remember at the beginning of this reading, when I said, I just say the things that drop into my crown, in through the crown, out through the mouth. So that's even like kind of interesting, but like higher consciousness is really like what the crown chakra is. It's that connection to a higher consciousness. So what is it that you are nurturing into literal creation? What actions are you taking towards those things? The 2 of Wands on top of the 6 of Swords. It's kind of interesting because these two beings look like they could be the same, and it's probably just because they're both gray. But still, right? The leaves have fallen off this person's head. So to me, that there's some sort of weight that's been lifted. Because even think of like cutting your hair. Right? Like, have you ever made a drastic change to your hair and how liberating that is? I've done it a few times. I'm getting my hair cut in 2 days. I'm going to cut like 3 inches off, which feels like a lot for me. I mean, at least I think I'm going to. But like, have you ever made a big change to your hair? Even went through a red hair phase? Because, if you're in your red hair era, then you're going through something. Like dyed red hair, right? But in the 2 of Wands, it looks like literally the sun is coming up. So whereas, the 6 of Swords was feeling a little depressy, a little down, a little, just being in your own stuff, which is exactly where we should be most times. This is like, again, the sun is coming out. There's a new day. There's hope. It's looking towards the future now. We have the Ace of Cups with the Queen of Pentacles. This being here, and the 8 of Wands being here now. Even too, that there are 2 people on the Ace of Cups, same as there are 2 guardians, people, whatever, on the Queen of Pentacles. Aces are brand new. Like I was even effing saying, okay, bro, this is why we need to use new decks, because this has been so cool how things have come together with this deck. But I was literally talking about making sure that your own cup is being poured into, is also full, is being prioritized even, right? Like that's the Ace of Cups. Your cup is overflowing. And maybe that is, because of the other people around you. Maybe you can make those connections because you have filled your own cup. The Nine of Wands on top of the Seven of Cups. We have a couple progressions here too. The 8 to the 9, Ace of Cups to the 2 of Cups, 7 of Cups and the 8 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So we're moving through energy here, at least. But the 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior. And with it being on top of the 7 of Cups, and that was talking about, purpose and belief in something, like maybe that has just been a struggle for you. Finding a place where you fit or you feel like you do. Finding a sense of purpose. Something, to believe in. Maybe it still will be a struggle, but it's also, it's like one of those things, if you continue to show up, if you continue to try, which is the message behind the 9 of Wands anyway, that it will be revealed to you. The 2 of Cups on top of the 8 of Swords, that was talking about miscommunication and the self-inflicted mind prison that I was talking about. The 2 of Cups is about connection, shared values. I'm curious, what is that symbol called again? Like, this guardian reminds us to take a moment to take care of ourselves, our mental and physical health. As this card appears, it indicates that there may be things that need to be addressed. Be open about your concerns. As simple as they may sound, they can build into bigger issues by leaving them unresolved. Isn't that hilarious? That it is on top of the card that was literally talking about miscommunication. So that might just be a big thing going forward, is whereas maybe in the past, if you didn't share those things up front and just kind of let them fester, that's got to change. Like the new you, the new energy that's here, speak it in the moment before it gets to a place of, snowballing out of control. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.